All right, we have bells, we have belts, we are bells and belts and everything in between, and we're back with you all on a Tuesday with my fellow world champions, Man Up and Joey. Gentlemen, good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening. How you feeling?
Joey, hey man, shoot,
being a carny, showing the gimmick every show. Like,
dude, hey, you keep your gimmick to yourself, sir. Okay, we ain't got time for that, man. A life thing happened to me this past weekend, guys. I shared it with you all in the group chat. I went fishing for the first time, man. And when I tell you that was a freaking workout, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it was cool. I'll just say this, and probably a lot of the guys out there will hopefully understand this. It's nothing like catching your meal for the evening that hits differently, So
did you eat the fish?
We ate the fish. And we ate very well. Oh my god, that was good. Yes,
yeah.
It just hits differently, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I had to share that, y'all. That was a moment for me. And we got a moment tonight, Joey, because we have an awesome guest tonight.
That's right. Yeah. So we're really excited. He's going out of his way. We're really appreciative here. International guest tonight. Different time zone entirely. Into the wee hours of the early morning being here. So we're very grateful for that. If you want to go ahead and show, or we're going to do that once he's on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But before we bring him on, just a reminder, Man Up, that we are in the 44th day in the awesome title reign of Dominic Mysterio as Intercontinental Champion. We are due 44 days, only 600 and some days to go before he passes Gunther. So yeah,
good luck.
Good luck. I'm just saying.
Control you every week until he loses it.
He's still gonna remind me.
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely. But without further ado, let's welcome our guest to the show.
Well, please welcome on the essential Paul Hubris onto the show.
Hello, how you boys doing?
Hey, good morning to you, sir.
Listen, I just Shawn Michaels nipped up out of bed, and here we are.
I'm just saying. Let's put it into context real quick. Now, normally when we have the show, we're in 3 different time zones. Me, Man Up, and Joey. Paul is in a whole nother time zone. It's already Wednesday morning over in the UK, man. So he literally is waking up just to do the show. So just that, welcome to Bells and Bells. We definitely thank you for the time.
Listen, it's my privilege, Listen, I wouldn't listen. This is an honor because I wouldn't just stay up at 2 a.m. for anybody. All right, so. Guys, you boys got something.
Oh, appreciate
it. Definitely
appreciate it.
Well, let's go out to the audience. We got some people commenting already.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Got old head. What's going on?
Old head's in the house.
How you feeling?
That's it, old head. You're just gonna say yo. All right.
Mendoza, let's get it started. Yeah. Platinum, how you feeling today? Pay me, baby. Okay, generic. Okay.
Yep.
Wrestling Bunkers, how you doing? You acting like you can swim, Cedric. You went to McDonald's and got a fish fillet.
Fun fact. Fish fillet was my thing when I was a kid. I can't even remember the last time I bought a fish fillet from McDonald's. Just saying. Just saying.
What?
Okay.
Awesome, but yeah, we definitely appreciate you, Paul, for joining us tonight. First question we always ask our guests coming on is your earliest wrestling memory. So if you can recall that, we would definitely love to hear about it.
Is this before I was in the business? Or
yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Earliest, probably. I mean, I say this was the standout memory because when we were kids, obviously we used to, when we were 8, 9 years old, we used to backyard wrestle. And this is when we were discovering our moveset as kids. So we had so you know like the trampolines, when they have the net around it, they have the poles, right?
Yeah.
So we took the net down and we're like, oh, if we take the net down, we can 619. Yeah. So
yes.
From school straight to my backyard, me and my friends were like, who can hit the sickest 619, which turned into the oversell, flying back and smacking our head on the neighbor's garage wall, and then my friends going home needing stitches, calling my parents, being like, why the hell has my kid come back? And then my parents, they don't know. So we're hiding it. We don't want to get told to stop wrestling. So we're, hats on, hoods up, can't see the blood coming down. So I mean, there's just one,
Whoa! So y'all hard weighing each other in the backyard, really?
Oh yeah! Hard way, brother. We were gimmicking, bro. We were like, listen, we ain't using any fake blood, man. We were gimmicking in the backyard.
Nice.
Hard
as a fan, though, going back to like the first time you can remember watching wrestling, what would have been your first memory of that?
The first time I actually ever watched wrestling, it was this was in like 2005.
Okay.
2005, I think. I remember the match that was on TV. It was a SmackDown. I believe it was Fit Finlay versus Mark Henry.
Okay.
And it was just on TV as I was scrolling. It was memorable because it was the day we were putting up the Christmas decorations in the house, right?
Okay.
Saw that. That's when my parents got pissed because that's when I realized what I wanted for Christmas. This was like a week before Christmas. What I wanted for Christmas was now all these wrestling action figures, and they'd obviously previously bought me all this stuff, so now they had to change everything. So yeah, that's the first kind of memory of actually seeing it on TV and going, well, I'm doing this for the for the rest of my life. That's it. So I went from that to 619s in the backyard. So.
Wow.
Now, did y'all have masks as well? If y'all doing 619, did y'all have the mask to go along with it, or?
Oh no, we could afford that. No. We I think the most merch we got, I think, was when Rey Mysterio had those wristbands.
Okay.
I swear he had like wristband, like sweatband type of things. I think that was it. And then the backyard gear wise, but yeah.
I love it. Oh, it's great. It's crazy you said that about the backyard because like you 8, 9 years old. Hell, I was 20-some years old and I had to make sure rig it in my backyard. I remember that. I was in Georgia. Yeah.
Hang on. We got a comment down there. Somebody is telling on him that you got to go to that last comment we got on here.
All right. He still does it in his backyard with a mask. Don't let him
He's exposing me. The wife's exposing me already. See,
love it.
Things are meant to stay secret in a relationship, but no.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. See, Shauna's going to keep you honest tonight, y'all. Shout out to Shauna Reed, who's watching. One of our former guests. They appreciate you watching. She's gonna keep you honest tonight. So I think that I see what she's doing already. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, them vows
rolling hard.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So you talked about your earliest wrestling memory. All right. So go on. Talk about how you getting into the business and whatnot. When did you make that decision? What was your mindset? Things of that nature.
Yeah. So basically, it's another story. I think because my parents were sick of me wrestling in the backyard, they're like, okay, you're actually going to go somewhere else. So when I was 12, I'm not. You ain't
doing it here. You can do it somewhere else.
Literally. So when I was 12, my mom knew that there's this guy who she worked with, and she heard he was going to start going to a school.
Okay.
And she said, "You don't have a choice. You're going." I had no say in it. The reason
Oh my gosh.
my mom made me.
I think this is like one of the first interviews that we had that we were like, the parents like, oh, you're going to this rest of school.
Yeah, no, it's just like, yeah, look, you got to learn your tuck your chin and bump, brother. You know, it's exact quote.
I love it.
Yeah, so no, she's like, oh, this guy I work with, he's going. So you're going. So here's me, 12 years old. You know, just getting sent in. They don't know any, like, they just think, oh, there'll be crash pads and stuff, whatever. Absolutely not. I was safer on the trampoline. I should have stayed.
Right.
It was their fault. So it's their fault. I've got lower back pain now, but whatever. So yeah, no, that was went there because he drove and stuff, and it was like 45 minutes was the nearest school from my house. So yeah, literally a random Sunday when I was 12 years old, just so I went, and obviously I was bricking it. You just don't know, like, you don't know what you're walking into, especially at 12 years old. I didn't even know an indie scene existed at that age, because it's like you don't know. And it wasn't, this is kind of the UK. I mean, we had Drew McIntyre, that was it at this point, right? Because you're talking 14 years ago. So yeah, there was no education of like an indie scene, so I had no idea. And the training facility, it was this old Muay Thai boxing gym. It had like the glass was smashed out on the windows. We were training on these cold ass like judo mats. The ring was made out of deflated car tires on the floor and wooden boards. That was it. So it was just this. It was the worst possible thing. And obviously at that point you think that's normal, right? You think, oh yeah, this is what it is. But no, obviously getting older and stuff, you realize, oh shit. Yeah, we got to move school. So
they're breaking in, and they're literally breaking in.
Yes. Yeah. So. But
so from there, did you continue to train at that age? Or?
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah. I never stopped. I've been doing this since I was like 12. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, 12 years old, and actually the funny story. So I was, I think I was like 13, 14 by this point. This is when Drew McIntyre just got released. The first time. So he came back to Scotland. He was doing like seminars and whatnot. So I'm like 14 years old. I'm like, oh yeah, Drew's coming to a seminar. Dude just beat the piss out of me. Dude just beat my ass in front of like a bunch of people. I was like, oh great. So here's me like 13, 14 years old. Like I'm just gonna
wait, but did you die?
I mean, yeah, well, like
I mean, I don't think anybody appreciates how large of a guy he is either until you're probably in front of him.
This was back then. He's
still a big guy back then.
Yeah,
he's huge now, but like
that's why, like, I kind of see him now. I'm like, dude, he's like double the size now than what he was back then.
He's still like, super tall and
he's like 6'4". Yeah, dude, he's like no. So yeah, that was kind of like the kind of first sort of. This was like I was kind of rolling about with Drew for within the first year of being in the business, so that was kind of cool. So I think I had, you know, like you can say like, are you happy with the path you chose at the beginning? It's like I would change it, but then there's obviously some things that I would have missed out on. Even back then, it's like you still learn. Like I was still learning, like how to work TV when I was like 14, and that's like nobody gets that really. So you think about it like that, it's kind of, you know, there's benefits.
I have to ask this question. How is it wrestling at such a young age and still have to wake up and go to school every morning?
Well, I held it a secret for like 4 years. Like I never told my I never told my friends. Wow. I never told anybody. I'd go to school the next day with like bruises from here to here. Like my entire arm, like both arms were just purple. Like I'd have teachers asking me, being like, "What happened? Like, is everything okay at home?" And I would gaslight them so bad. I'd be like, I just fell out the bed. Stop asking me stupid questions. and you know, and even like, I didn't. You're in high school. Nobody. Like nobody, especially in the UK, was doing this, right? So if I came out and said one, they probably would have just thought I was talking shit. And secondly, it's like you don't know how they're going to react. Like I was never picked on in school, and I was like, I'm keeping it that way, you know. We're good here, so we didn't get, you know, didn't want to make any sort of target. So yeah, I hit it, and people found it by accident. So yeah, no, it was that thing of just like all I could think about in high school was like wrestling and spots and moves and like, oh, what's training on Sunday going to be like and whatnot. So it was very much that like my own secret and my own, like, I guess, life.
I was just going to bring that up.
Listen.
Oh God, I love it.
That was a good one. I think that's the best story right now.
You can't work a worker, man. I was working everybody. 14 years old.
Even back then, brother.
I was cut promos and everything. I didn't even realize it. Yeah.
Oh man.
He
knew how to keep that paid.
Do you know what? I actually don't know how people didn't realize, because this. So
yeah,
we had this like school movie project, right? And me and my friends, we just kind of joked. We didn't take it seriously. But I had these guys bump feeding me in this video out on the grass outside. So I was just like, oh yeah, let's just like do a fight scene for a video project. And I had them do like clothesline back elbow, and they still didn't pick up on it. And I was taking full on back bumps on like the field outside. And then we presented it to class, and the teacher's just like, why do you guys just beating your ass, man? Like, I was outside still, I was spike DDTing, and they're just like, what? So, and they showed it to like the whole class, and then still nobody questioned it. They just like, were like, oh, he's just an idiot. It's what it is, right? He's just an idiot who doesn't get hurt, whatever. Because I had a match, I was just hungry, man. I was hungry, man. So yeah, I wanted tape. I wanted to send this to promoters, you know. I wanted to try to get booked. I was like, I need footage, so high school projects with it.
I mean,
got me in tears over here.
Bumping on the grass might have been better than where you were bumping originally. It might have been softer.
That's what you'd know. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
that was a good one. I got one for you though. I will admit they got me in tears right there. That was funny. Now that you kept it secret throughout school and stuff, what's your next steps after that? Now you're out of school. I know you still going. You still training.
Yeah, so I mean, our school structure in the UK is totally different to the US. So we do like primary school, which you're in from like the ages 5 till 11, and then your high school from 11 until you're 17, 18. But you can leave high school early if you want to. Like, we don't necessarily graduate high school, right? Like we don't have that. And then you have the option if you want to go to university or college. So I was I just turned, I was 17. Yeah. So I left high school at 17. I had a job already. Like, I'd work all the summer. I was making all this money. I was like, I knew the path I wanted to go, and I didn't need anything college or university related. So I was just like, screw it. I just left high school, and I was like, I'm just going to go work this job and wrestle and just do that and really like bet on myself. And my parents too. My parents are super like supportive of the sense of like, they just know I'm going to make it work out. Right. They're just like, if you fail, you fail, like you got to bet on it. So they just kind of were super cool with it and just let me do it. But yeah, very much just kind of been on my own path since then. Then obviously things have changed and whatnot as the world's changed, things happen. But yeah, it's been consistent since then and just moving about and progressing and whatnot.
How old were you when you had your actual first match in front of fans?
14.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
14. Yeah. So it's still super young. So.
Wow. Yeah.
What? That first match, gear. What? Remember what you?
I think it was actual gear. It was okay. Yeah, it was just plain black tights with some like plain kick pads. Okay. It was it wasn't mine. I borrowed it. It was like somebody else's.
So better than what some people wrestle in. So way better than that.
Listen, I've always been professional. I've always been in shape and in gear. So
yeah,
minimum standards. Yeah.
It should be. It's not, but it's,
No,
it's definitely not. But
someone's quite tickled over there.
So
awesome.
So you trained there originally. At what? Now I know eventually you did come to the United States. At what point did that happen? Exactly. Did you make your first trip over here?
Yeah. So obviously, COVID happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what? Like, I ain't staying here. I got to do something. And I was looking kind of like the UK was like tyranny at this point. It was you couldn't like do anything, and I was just like, nah. Like, I already had COVID too, so I'm like, I'm good. Like, let's go live a life.
Right.
So, and then that's when just ran. I think it was like during. I don't know if the US had like 2 lockdowns, but this was like during the beginning of the second one in the UK. Okay. Like they kind of opened up again and then went backwards. So this is the second one came on. I'm like, oh, here we go again. And then that's when Dustin Rose called me. Okay. This was like, obviously this was Texas time. And so he called me at like 3 a.m. UK time. So I woke up, I was like random Austin, Texas. I was like, hello? He's like, hey, Paul, and then he's just like, oh, why don't you come out here? And we spoke for like a little bit on the phone, and I was just at that point, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go.
There you go.
Yeah, I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll get there. I mean, that in itself is a story getting there. Like, we couldn't just travel to the US. We had to like isolate in a country for 2 weeks before we could get there. So I had to go to the Dominican Republic. So I was in Santo Domingo, which is run by the cartel. So, yes, so obviously, like, so but I mean, I'm quite ignorant in the sense. I thought it would just be, it'll figure itself out, right? So I don't research these places. I searched up Dominican Republic on Google, and I saw, oh, it's palm trees and nice beaches. This is paradise, right? It's fine.
Good stuff, right? Yeah.
So I realized the minute I landed, I was cooked, right? Because I walk through, I clear customs, and then I see the police and the cartel standing next to each other in the airport, both with guns, and I'm like, oh well, this is just
nothing bad can happen here, you know,
right? And obviously, I'm the only white guy during this time because there was no return flights because of COVID. It was all one-way flights, so they never had tourists. So they see the white guy from Scotland, they go, oh, it's him. Like, here's the target, right? So the amount of times, like for 2 weeks, I was like in survival mode because Haiti had just had this huge earthquake. So they were all migrating over. They were desperate. They were trying to rob people. They were trying to gain hostages. So like the amount of times like people would follow me, and like vans would pull up and like trying to lure me in their van, and it's like nuts. People, I was like a target here for like 2. So that I was like, yeah, it was survival mode for 2 weeks. Of like, I'll get through this, then I can go and train there. So yeah, it wasn't simple. Weeks. Dude, it was. I had to hide. Like my the guy who I was renting the Airbnb off, I was like, oh, is this area safe? He's like, safe. He's like, for me, yes. For you, no. So
at least he was honest. At least he was honest.
Dude gave me a bike chain, and he said, "Oh yeah, just wrap that round the door for extra security." And he gave me this padlock, but when I wrapped the chain round, it was one of those ones because it stretches, and it was a double door, so I still pushed it, and I could still get in and out regardless. I was like, okay, anybody can come in here at any point. So they were saying, oh, white boy, hide from the windows. So they wanted me to just like not be seen at the windows and stuff. It was nuts. So never again. I don't recommend going to
Dominican anyway.
I will not be going back. Yeah, no, it's.
Oh, come on! You got to go back for.
Listen,
by the palm trees at least.
Part of my stubbornness would just go back to sea. Like, screw it, I'll give it another chance. But it's one of those things I just rather not. So yeah, then it was that, and then eventually I got to Houston, and then I got interrogated in Houston for 5 hours in a cell. Yeah, so because they assumed because I'd came off one of these Caribbean flights that I was trouble, like I was smuggling, because of COVID. They're like, why would you be doing one-way flights? So, but luckily I had like the contract for Dustin's school and stuff, so they were like, oh yeah, you're cool. But it was just another huge thing. So, yeah.
Wow.
What a story. Woo. I know you was terrified. Oh, dude.
I did. So I guess tell us next, like about that first time meeting Dustin. You're face to face with a bona fide legend in professional wrestling, going to wrestle for him and stuff. I mean, that's got to feel big. I mean,
yeah. I think it was just that huge relief of like, oh, we're finally here, right?
Yeah.
And I had a horrible thing because I missed that. I got interrogated. I missed that flight, so I slept. I had to sleep in Houston airport floor for the full night, so I didn't sleep at all actually. And then by the time I actually got to Austin, the first class was in 2 hours. So I went from like not sleeping for 2 days, not eating for 2 days, to landing and then straight to Dustin school. So when I got there, I was just like done. I was like, oh, I hate this. Like, I'm going to be, I'm going to be falling everywhere. Like, I'm going to make an idiot of myself, whatever. I'm going to look terrible. Like, I'm so sleep deprived. But it's one of those moments when you get there, you're just like, oh, you feel great. You forget about it. And it was super cool to like actually, again, just like walk in there and I was like, okay, we're here now. Let's go. And it was like 3 months of like just drive. And he was obviously super cool and whatnot. Again, meeting him, it was just finally in that position to really kind of, all it was for the first time ever was just wake up, wrestling, work out, sleep, wrestling for 3 months. And that was just like the dream, really.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you this question. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, so I apologize in advance, but I have to ask this question. Was it all worth it?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the moment of like, it was that total revamp I needed in my career to really take off. Yeah. And if I didn't do it, I don't know where I would have been, right? So it was the confidence boost of like, oh yeah, I do know what I'm doing. I am, like this capable. So let's really it was that kind of kick up the ass really to just proper go at it. So
good point. Okay. I just had to ask that one. I'm sorry, Joey, what you had there?
No, I was looking at the comments out there and see it, but some of them are from kind of far back. That's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I got another one for you. Now you at the Dusty school. Now you getting your feet wet with Dusty, and you met him in, your training. What was class with him like in your eyes?
Yeah, so I'm super passionate about just the old school sort of ways and the simplicity and the basics, right? So like to me, real like talent is like, see if you structure a match with just using the basics and you like, tear the roof down, that proves to me you're a way better worker than having like 5,000 moves to choose from and doing all this crazy stuff for a reaction, right? And that's the kind of like, I knew that's kind of like how the training would be. And it was just that humbling of like, we're going to do collar elbow tie-ups for an hour. And it's just that, and it's, okay, we're going to do headlock takeovers for an hour. Like, I just loved like mastering and being so smooth at the basics for what you need. And that's what I continue to like preach everywhere I go now with like, look, like if you genuinely master this stuff and you can tell a great match using just these like 6 things, that makes you a way better worker overall than doing all this, 450s and whatnot. Not that they're a bad thing whatsoever. It's just like when people rely on certain things.
Sometimes less is definitely more.
Oh yeah, for sure, of course.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, and let's be real, Dustin's a perfect guy to teach that. He's a guy that drew tons of money without having to do any of that stuff. So he's
like literally the guy had like 3-4 moves his entire career.
Didn't have to do much. I mean, but he made everything look so good. Everything was snug with Dustin. You always knew it, and it's like I grew up watching him at WCW, especially back in his early part of his career, especially teaming with guys like Ricky Steamboat, Barry Windham, and wrestling just the who's who of it. So it's like I can only imagine what just from top to bottom what that's got to be like with him, because he's such a master of it. He's such a guy that knows so much.
Mm-hmm. As in, even just like little things like, you have your standard wrist lock or whatever, and it was just like, oh, here's 10 different things of how to make a wrist lock like that. You would never, what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that, and it's just like people don't teach that nowadays. It's very just like, oh yeah, that's how you do a wrist lock. Okay, cool. And then you just move on to the next thing, right? Instead of just like actually breaking down the one thing for a long period of time and not moving on until it was like mastered. Like it's that proper old school
Yeah.
mentality. And I like that. That's kind of, especially now too, like it's hard to go and trade at other schools now because it's all just a money grab and a bit of fun. Whereas like that's like it's built into like if we're here, we're going to go right. We're going to do it properly. So I think that's kind of a especially nowadays. It's just not like that. So
yeah, I agree. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Now, what was your first match in the Dustin school? What was not who, but what kind of match did you have in your first match with Dustin? Sorry, I'm asking that kind of wrong.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So we so the first the first match I had in front of him that wasn't recorded or anything. This is why I like it. It was very much the stages of the 3 months. So it's like, say we only covered 4 things in the first 2 weeks. It's like you have to make a 5 to 8 minute match with just these 4 things. And I like that idea of like how creative can we be with just 4 things, right? And that's where I really like you can really learn how good you are, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like so stuff like that was the kind of first matches with him, and again, obviously, just the feedback from that, it reassures you, and it gets bigger and bigger build up. But the first actual full length match was he does these this was obviously this was coming up 4 years ago now. So this is when he wasn't doing like his own promotion and stuff. So this was he would just do the showcases at the end of each 3 month period. It was me versus a guy called Lucas Chase and Kane Carter for the Rose Wrestling Academy title. And I don't think that's a thing anymore. But at that point, it was like the title. So that was the first kind of recorded official match with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I won. Which I obviously won.
Nice.
I don't I didn't fly halfway across the world to lose. I had to come home with something. So
he said you're gonna leave here with something.
I nearly got kidnapped and I had to fight the cartel. Like, give me that. He's like, okay, fair enough. Like,
I like it.
I have a neat quarter roll and I'm fighting terrorists. So give me the belt. He's like, fair.
Well, in the time that you working with Dustin and whatnot, did you get a chance to work some of the other indies in Texas or
not the first time? Yeah, not the first time. So really, that 3 months was just focusing on Dustin, and we were wrestling.
Okay.
We were wrestling 4 or 5 days a week.
Okay.
It was like your off days. You were just on the couch, dying, and like, it was just like, the last thing you want is bump. Like, so yeah, that was like full time. We were training like 5 hours a day as well. In that Texas heat, it was like 100.
Oh yeah.
And my white Scottish ass is used to like 25 degrees, and I'm in the desert doing like star jumps. I mean, nah.
So, that disrespectful Texas heat is something else, man.
Hey, I love it. I love the Texas heat.
Listen, but no, I did. That's the point. So Dustin, we were like this. It was second day in, and Dustin texted Tony Khan about me. He's like, "Oh, I've got this guy. He's like a young Claudio Cesaro. You should like check him out." He's like, "All right." So, and that's when they got AEW were doing stuff in Austin, and that's when I got to like work with Cody.
Nice.
Got to do like Cody and like Arn Anderson, like they were doing this whole like it's during like the Malachi Black story at the point.
Right.
So like, oh yeah, just go in there, roll about with Cody for a bit. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going to film it. We did like a couple of stuff for TV as well. So I was the first person from Scotland to appear on Dynamite, which is cool. And that's obviously I'll have that forever.
Yes, I love it.
So and then I rolled about with Cody, and then Cody was like, "Oh yeah, man, like you're decent. We'll get you on Dark." But then loads of logistical things happened there, like it's visas and all that. You can't just jump in. So I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of was a bummer. But I mean, it's you don't want to go to jail, so it's what it is. So yeah, no, so that was the kind of first thing. So that was really kind of, again, assuring as well, being like, oh, we want you, but we can't have you. I was like, oh, well, great. Another one, another tough pill to swallow, but it's the way the world works, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, those sort of my first 3 months, it was strictly just Dustin's, and I did this stuff with AEW, but no Indies on that because that was my first time in the US. So I was just like very comfortable. I will do this for now, and then we can come back, and kind of branch out. So
Okay, nice. Now that you got your feet wet on a major promotion like that, how are you feeling now? Well, at that point, I'm sorry. How are you feeling at that point?
Yeah, so that again, that was the kind of the motivation, right? Of like, okay, so the way you look at it is most wrestling schools and companies now, they'll tell you what you want to hear because they want your $60 a month, right? They want you to come back and
Right.
yeah, we'll tell him he's good at this, and this, and then that will be like, oh, it's cool, so I'll come back and give you money every month. But these guys, they don't need your money, right? They're not looking for you to be nice to you and come back. So when you've got guys like Cody and Arn Anderson and Dustin like coming to you being like, oh yeah, you can do this, like you're really good, like I can't, there's nothing too critical I can give you, like, it gives you that motivation of like, okay, these guys are saying it and they're at the top of the top. So me going somewhere else, it's like, okay, some guy who's wrestled in the same hall for the last 30 years, if he tells me I'm the drizzling shits, who is he? He's an ego, it's an ego trip at this point, right? So it was very much like after, as you like to your question, it was from that point, it was like, okay, when I fly back, it's go time. And that's when I just started contacting all these companies, and they'd seen obviously what I'd done, and they were just like, oh yeah, cool, come in, we'll give it a try. And that's when I was like, it was main events sort of everywhere at that point. Just getting thrown right in, just getting right in. I was just like, oh shit, well, okay. So I traveled a lot, mainly like England, so London area and all of that. So I kind of went away from Scotland, kind of went out, opened new doors elsewhere, and so I continued to do that until I came back to the US, and then obviously it's just been building from there.
Okay. Before we come back to your second US trip, for a lot of us who aren't keen on the UK wrestling scene, talk to us about some of the promotions over there that you work with, that you have good experiences with and whatnot. You don't have to tell us about the bad ones unless you want to, but it's don't want no heat on you, but just because a lot of our viewers they really don't know about the UK. So
there's I mean, the UK obviously is like everywhere. They've got a couple of stinkers. Ones that, I mean, there's ones like I'm very like you just wouldn't touch, right? Because you're just like nah. So recently, I mean, Scotland wise too, I've been this company called W2. So I'll actually go back. So obviously being with Dustin and doing the US stuff, I was very like TV focused. So I really wanted to like find companies that have that TV show. I wasn't really interested in like the indies in that sense, right? Because I just had all this TV training.
Right.
So, and it's obviously the UK doesn't have TV companies like that. So it's all kind of pre-recorded and on networks and stuff. It's not live like TV. So there was a few that kind of had that TV structure who I sort of reached out to, even one like in Scotland. Me and Shauna are working there in a few weeks. It's called W3L. They're very like American TV focused, but in Scotland. Really old kind of skill promoter. So it's very, it's all TV mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm about that. Like working a hard cam, can get in here because it's like I am not a pantomime wrestler. I'm not and Scotland is very that. So that's one thing I will tell you about the UK is there is such a thing as like a Scottish style, a UK style, and it's not what it used to be in the British style. That's not really a thing anymore. It's not your William Regals in not that sense anymore. It's very pantomime. It's very like fair shows, right? It's very, let's clap our hands before we do the next thing. And it's, to me, it's cheap. I don't like it. I don't wrestle like that. Even if I'm on those shows, I'll not wrestle like that. We're going to show them something different. We're going to turn it up. So the UK scene is very stylish in that sense. So when someone like me comes in and wants to change it up a bit, a lot of the guys will be like, "Oh, what's this? You know, what's this structure? What's this mindset? Is different." So they kind of get taken back by it, and you can see they kind of freak out a little bit. And that's kind of like where I've been going around. It's very like the goal is like to show these people like there's a totally if you took this British style, this current British style, not the old school one, this pantomime style, this fair show, and you took it over to 90% of the promotions in the States, it would work. You would crumble. They would eat you alive because they don't like that. It's not what they're there for. And they're like, oh, okay. So yeah, very much in that sense. But in regards to company stuff, yeah, it's very like TV, like UKW stuff, Ultimate British Wrestling down in London. It was very, I need storylines and I need us to take it seriously, you know, the TV kind of structure. And that's very much what I did for kind of, let's say, a year and a half, 2 years maybe, because I was going back and forth a lot. So I'll be doing both. So
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So now, go talk us to the second U.S. trip.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so this was shorter. This was just kind of just the first time on the actual indies in the US.
Okay.
Obviously, I'd like. Let me just get my timeline sorted.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, sorry, I'm kind of step ahead of myself. So the second time I went back to Austin to Dustin's, and that was just a simple like, oh hey, I went for like a vacation, saw a few friends, worked Dustin Showcase again. It wasn't you know anything like that. It was just that again. So this is the third trip, which is technically is when I did my first indies, and that was so Shauna Reid was over in the UK. We worked some shows in the UK together, and we planned for me to just fly back out there with her. This was before we were together or anything like that.
Right.
This was very much just going over there. So then we worked a few indies together, and that's when it was very like the eye opener of like, oh, let's see what this, because I was around like Dustin and friends the whole time. So this is very like new territory for me at this point. And that's when we went to OVW for the first time. Worked a company called War Wrestling in Lima, Ohio.
Yeah.
You might know, yeah. So stuff like that too. And that was all very like, this is the first time I had like an agent, a producer, you know, all this stuff, like where people are like in you. And I was just like, oh, it's more intense, right?
Right, sure.
I was like, oh, okay. So again, that was super like good experience wise as well. And that was a shorter trip. That was only about 2 weeks. So it was kind of just, again, I'd still consider like, you know, putting your toes in the water sort of thing. And again, it was like after that, the trips got longer and the companies got.
OVW, talk to us about working with Al Snow.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they were always super cool with me.
Yes.
They were always super like welcoming. And yeah, no, that was it was actually so. I think most people for OVW is very like you kind of if they want you in, it's like, oh, you do a couple of dark matches to see how you are, whatnot, and build up.
Sure.
Well, for me, like I turn up, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to have you open the pay-per-view, and I was like,
pay-per-view.
I was like, oh,
nice.
I was like, oh, all right. They're like, yeah, we want you guys to open the pay-per-view, and we're going to use your match to help sell more tickets online for like the buy-in. I was like, oh god, right, sure. So it was me and a guy called Star Rider.
Okay.
I think he's the current champ or something. I might be wrong, but I don't really keep up with it.
Yeah, sure.
But it was me and him, and again, it's like I think I can't remember who the agent was for it, but again, it was like they were super cool. They were like, I wasn't like squashed or anything. They were like, oh yeah, get some stuff in, you know. So and that was also at that point you're kind of like you just expect to be like killed in 30 seconds, and you know,
yeah, sure.
But no, they weren't like that at all, which was always decent. Everyone was super nice to me and like welcoming and whatnot. So that was another one that was just kind of it was that proper TV when you've got like the vets kind of in you, and it was I'll just go on the subject of OVW. I'll tell you now. So the most recent one when I worked there was the OVW Rumble show.
Okay.
the annual yearly one. So I didn't know this too because he was like a surprise. So I think I was like number 15 in the Rumble.
Okay.
JBL was on comms, so I could hear JBL, and I was like, "Oh,
Right.
this is cool. JBL's going to call me, whatever." And I've always liked JBL. I just think he's just an asshole, and I think it's just it's great. So hearing JBL, I'm like, "Oh, cool." And obviously, I'm 15. I was like, "Oh, I hadn't been here for a while." Like, it was like a year at that point because I hadn't just been back. It's like, "Oh, here after a year, whatever." This, hopefully, I'll get some sort of reaction. And because he was a surprise, I had no idea. Dude Love McFoley comes in and he's before me, and I was like, oh, there's no way. So like I have to then follow McFoley as Dude Love, and he was like this huge surprise that nobody in the crowd knew, like the boys didn't know. He was just like brought in. So I'm waiting there about to go out. McFoley's there. He's like, oh, what's up, man? I had to help him up the stairs because he can't walk in. So I'm helping McFoley up the stairs. Right. And then so he goes out and gets this huge like pop. JBL's dancing with him on the stage, and then here comes me, and I'm just like, oh, great. So it's just shit on by Dude Love. That's it. That man took my fire away. So that was cool though as well, because it's like you never think like, oh yeah, I'm after dude, not just McFoley, like Dude Love in a Rumble, which is like no one sees Dude Love. So that was another thing. I was just like, oh yeah, like it's just, if you told like 8-year-old me that that's something that was going to happen randomly at one point, you just especially at the start, you don't think it. So stuff like that, that's why OVW is always like, you wouldn't get that randomly anywhere else. So that's really cool sort of bucket list thing for sure.
Absolutely.
Nice. Should we do some word association?
Oh, you want to do some word up? Let's do some word up. I love it. Let me get my graphic up. Stop that. There we go. All right, we're gonna play word up, Paul. Wait, words. I'm gonna show you something on the screen. And you first thing that comes to mind, you just shout it out, okay?
All right.
Good deal. Good deal.
It's not
all right.
Is this just one word?
Incriminating.
Yeah, just one word.
Just one word. The first thing that comes into my head. Okay.
All right. First one. Worst injury.
I snapped my fibula bone.
Ooh.
Whoa. Okay. Pause. Okay. What happened? What?
So, this is another stupid thing. So we're having a practice match, just a regular training match. I did a springboard uppercut, and just the way I landed on my foot, so it chipped at this point. So my fibula chipped. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But we had a really big booking the weekend after, and I didn't want anyone to take me off the show. And I was young, whatever. So I just taped it up, took some painkillers, walked home away. Then did the show the next week, and I did the the Rob Van Dam just sent on from the top. Did that onto these two guys, landed, and that's when it actually snapped.
Ooh.
But so we have free healthcare in the UK, right? But free comes with a consequence, right? So I went to get my leg x-rayed because I couldn't walk at this point. The pain was awful, like I went to throw up, whatever. When I got an x-ray, they said, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong. And I'm like, well, there's no way. There's no way. They're like, oh yeah, some soft tissue, there's nothing wrong. Just walk it off, you'll be fine.
Just
walk.
Like, no wow.
Yep. So I'm like, I can't walk. I'm holding onto the wall, like can't put any pressure. I'm hopping back to the car. My dad drove me. And then they call me 2 weeks later and go, oh, actually, we had another look at your x-ray. You've, your fibula bone's gone. And I was like, oh, sick. Went back to the hospital. They showed me the x-ray they took. And by the way, as I said to you before, I've not been to college, university. I've never studied nursing or whatever. I looked at the screen and I pointed. I went, that's it there, right? And they go, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I saw it instantly. But these people who have been to college for the last 5 years were. And then they said, well, it's been 2 weeks. You should have had crutches. You should have been in a boot. You should have had it like, casted. But you've been dealing with it, so we'll just kind of let you be. So I walked off a broken leg, and now my fibula now is deformed. I can't move my ankle a certain way. It locks, so my whole leg moves. So it's like, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't cause me any issues pain wise today, but it's just like, it just feels weird, and I just feel like one day it's probably going to go again. So
oh my,
yeah. Geez. So that's the one that's I'd say the worst, but I've had other ones, but that's just it. I know it's worse.
I was saying that's the worst.
No, it's okay. We had to go into it, so it's
Wow.
we got to ask the question like broken fibula. Normally we hear broken finger, tennis elbow, not broken fibula. Wait a minute, whoa, hold on now.
I definitely need surgery on it. I definitely need surgery. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's coming when I'm got that to look forward to, along with the other replacements. But
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one. Stiffest opponent.
Deontay Smiley.
Okay. All right. Tell us about him.
So Deontay is, Bobby Horn, Sir Mo. They own a company in Dallas called Soar Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So in Dante's, he's a CrossFit freak. Like, dude's a machine. He's ripped, and he's actually just signed with the UFC for slap contest.
Power slap. Okay.
Power slap. That's it, right? So that should tell you.
Okay.
That should tell you, right? So
yes. Oh my gosh.
So
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah. So dude's got hands, right?
Sure.
And it wasn't his hands; it was his feet. Like, I mean, to be fair, we agreed. Let's just go out there and beat the shit out of each other. Like, it's in Dallas. We're in some CrossFit gym. It was 100 degrees, sweating. I was like, we're in the main event. I'm like, I'm up for like a scrap here. So yeah. So yeah, there's this. If I wasn't putting my hands up, I would have been KO'd like 6 times during that. But I mean, I live for that stuff. So of memory, like Dante's, like, I mean, to be fair, was he this? I asked him, like, oh, like, hit me, right? So I asked for it. He wouldn't work like that with everybody, like, I just wanted a bit of something. So
love it. All right, next up, biggest rival.
His name's Billy O'Keefe.
Okay.
Billy O'Keefe. He's a UK wrestler. And he's my biggest rival. And we've only had one match.
Okay.
But in this match, there was grown men leaving the venue crying because of this story we told and the believability. It was such.
Real quick, tell us the story. Tell us the story now. Now I'm intrigued.
So it was such a standard build up. It was a simple. I was champion. Okay. He was this young guy, standard babyface. Everybody loved him. He won this little tournament to face me in the main event for this title, right?
Right.
But during the match, it was just, I don't know. I can't necessarily put a finger on it, right? But it was just such the purity of wanting the babyface to beat the heel. It was such an old school, like back to the 80s. Like, every single person in that building was on their feet. It was every chant possible. It was like they'd never seen anything like it, right? And it was like there was nothing super crazy. It was just that, it was one of those things. The parents who brought their kids to the show, the parents were now into it more than the kids because we actually got them. And as I said, so I beat him, and it was probably still to this day the best near fall in my career. It was he hit me with like some electric chair that I swanton, but the kick out was like, you can't get any closer, that sort of stuff. And when I eventually beat him, you could actually feel the atmosphere get sucked out of the room of that disappointment. And then I said, like, it was just the commentary were crying. People on the cameras were like emotional about it. There was grown men crying as they were leaving just because of that, like, emotional roller coaster we took them on for 20 minutes. It was like, it's beautiful. Exceptional. And we have been trying, and I don't know if nobody wants to book it because it would top everything else on the card.
Sure.
And we've been talking, being like, this has to happen again, because this is like the chemistry we have is just it's unmatched, right? And it's the first time we ever touched. So it was like, I always say it's like, once that needs to happen once or twice more before we retire, because it's something that just people need to see.
And And just to piggyback on that, with the crowd like solely behind him, you had to be like the biggest heel ever.
Oh, they hated me. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was after
Yes.
for weeks. I was attacking their financial situation and stuff. Like I was taking it home. Like
Okay.
you can't afford to feed your kids. You're horrible. Like that. Like I was. Oh yeah. Oh, I go in. I
Yeah.
go in. Like I need it.
See, that's all the more reason. All the more reason I'd want to book it because when he does finally beat you, holy shit! Yeah. That's what you want one day.
Yes,
it's one of those ones. Once it's on a poster and a graphic, they're good. People are going to come. It's just like absolutely. So that to me is like it's one of those ones. It's like how can you be your top rival if you've only had one match? But it's just something that like
I love that. I do.
So.
I really do. And it again, Paul. This going back to what you were talking about earlier. Simple. It was just something so simple.
It works every time.
It works.
Yeah, it works. There's a reason it worked in the 70s and it still works today, but people don't want to do it. Why? Because they want to have cool highlight reels for their Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Don't look cool doing a headlock takeover, do you? That's their mindset.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But
all right, Dastardly Heel. Be a Dastardly Heel. You've got to have a favorite foreign object.
You're thinking about it.
I'm trying not to be generic.
You might have used a few. You might.
All right,
yeah.
All right. We'll do top three. What's your top three?
Okay, well, I was thinking storyline wise in matches, the belt shot.
Okay,
it's the standard belt shot. The way you can kind of manipulate and then the crowd get it. I always like almost doing a combo. I love the steel chair and the belt shot. So like, I'll have a steel chair. I'll go hit them. The ref pulls the chair off. That's when you grab the belt. Boom. Only the crowd see it. They lose it because they don't expect. Oh, there's another. The belt's already in the picture because they've seen a chair, right? So it's that the belt is the unexpected, dirty tactic that they're not seeing coming if they're not a smart mark. So
yeah,
I
would say the belt shot, honestly.
Nice.
Okay. Good deal. Longest road trip. Not a flight, but in a longest road trip that you've been in driving somewhere.
7.5 hours each way.
Okay. Is this in UK or
no? You could do the entire UK in 7 hours. No. No, this was Knoxville, Tennessee to South Bend, Indiana. It's like 7 hours, but then I think, do you know what? I think we got stuck in traffic one day, so it ended up being like 9.
Oh,
I'm just going off if there's no traffic, right?
Yeah.
So that's a long ass one. Same with like I think Knoxville to Chicago. Actually, that might be.
That's
the same.
Yeah.
So
good.
7.5 hours. Yeah.
Good deal. All right, we coming up to the top of the hour, man. We definitely appreciate the time.
Yeah.
As where we at 3 o'clock in the morning there.
It's gym time, man.
he heading right to the gym right after that.
No, I'm going to bed.
A few hours anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So all right. So before we get out here, go ahead and plug social media. We're supposed to find you.
Pretty standard. My Facebook, just Paul Hubris Wrestler. Same with Instagram, just Paul Hubris. Twitter is the exact same, Paul Hubris. The YouTube it's the Hubris Philosophy. So if you just type in Paul Hubris, my channel comes right up. There's everything on there. So
absolutely, Paul. This has been a very insightful and great freaking hour, man. But I definitely feel like we could have gone for longer. I truly have it. You really speak to my heart when you talk about the basics and simplicity and whatnot. Especially we go get someone having that mindset in this day and age where with a lot of folks think of it as an afterthought. So it's really good to hear that, fellas.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
that's
man.
what I'm a fan of. That's why I don't watch much wrestling now myself. I've said it a bunch of times on this show. Like, just give me wrestling. That's all I want. Like pro wrestling, give me that. I don't need to see the circus where people flying off the trapeze and doing like ridiculous stunts. None of that. That's fun. Like you said, it's fun for about a second, and then you're bored, and you're doing something else. And it's like, no, but give me that good storytelling, and I definitely am a fan of yours for that. And I hope you keep doing it.
No,
I hope you keep doing it that way too.
Of course, I'm not going to sell my soul. You're good.
Yeah.
Sell out. I'm going to cough out.
Oh man. Yeah, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope I be able to buy one of your action figures one day. Keep it going. Keep
He's
it
got
going.
t-shirts for sale. You should. He's wearing it.
I love it. All right, guys. We thank everybody for tuning in with us here at Bells and Bells. As always, we ask that you continue to support. That's to support Paul on his channel. We ask you to support us on all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitch. We do this for you guys. You keep coming back. We're gonna bring it to you again, Paul. Again, thank you for the time. We definitely appreciate it. For Paul, for joining your man up. I'm your boy Cedric D. We will see you guys here next week here on Bells and Belts.
Yeah.